The question came between bites of steak and the soft hum of restaurant jazz. Casual, almost playful. "Do you still trust me?" she asked, twirling her wine glass with a nervous smile. The fork slipped from my hand. It clattered against the plate, loud enough that a few heads turned. For a moment I couldn't breathe. Because when a person asks that question, it's never really a question. It's a confession dressed as curiosity. We'd been married 8 years. Emma and I weren't perfect. Who is? But I thought we were good. She laughed at my dumb jokes, kissed me goodbye before work, sent me photos of her coffee cups and busy day ahead. Texts. But lately something had shifted. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Her phone never left her hand. And her eyes, the same eyes that once looked at me like I was home, had grown distant, evasive. I told myself it was stress. I wanted to believe that. God, I needed to believe that. 2 weeks before that dinner, I found the first crack. Emma had gone to a client dinner, so I decided to surprise her with flowers at her office. The receptionist smiled awkwardly when I arrived. "She already left, Mr. Collins," she said. "About 30 minutes ago." My stomach tightened. Called Emma, no answer. I texted her. "Still at the restaurant?" And 5 minutes later she replied. "Just finishing up. Don't wait up, love you." That night, she came home smelling like expensive cologne that wasn't mine. At dinner, sitting across from her in that dim, overpriced restaurant, I couldn't stop replaying that moment. She looked beautiful, she always did. A navy dress, her hair pinned up, that silver bracelet I bought her for our anniversary glinting under the light. But beneath all that polish, something in her face trembled. "I've been meaning to talk to you," she began softly. "It's been hard lately, hasn't it?" I nodded, keeping my expression calm, though my heart was already braced for impact. "Hard how?" "Yes." She looked down at her hands. "I just feel like we've grown apart. You've been distant." I almost laughed. Distant. I was the one reaching out, the one asking how her day was, the one waiting up until midnight while she came home with lies on her lips. But I stayed quiet. I wanted to hear what her version of the truth sounded like. She sighed, biting her lip. "I don't want us to lose what we have. That's why I asked, do you still trust me?" There it was again. That question. The words hung between us, heavy and suffocating. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say that of course I trusted her, that whatever this was, distance, stress, confusion, we'd fix it. But something inside me snapped. Because earlier that afternoon, I'd received a text message that shattered every illusion I'd been holding on to. It was from an unknown number. No message, just a single photo. Emma. At a cafe. Laughing. Holding hands with a man I recognized, Ethan. Her coworker. The same guy she'd been working late with. In the photo, their fingers were intertwined like lovers. I'd stared at that image for a long time. My hands shook. My throat burned. I didn't know whether to scream or vomit. But mostly I felt empty. Now she sat across from me, pretending to mend what she'd already destroyed. "Emma," I said slowly, forcing my voice steady. "Why did you really ask me that?" She blinked, startled. "What do you mean?" "Do I trust you?" I repeated, leaning forward. "That's an interesting question. Because usually, people only ask that when they've given you a reason not to." Her smile faltered. "James, what?" "I saw the picture," I cut in quietly. "You and Ethan." Her face drained of color. The wine glass in her hand froze midair, then lowered to the table. For a long time neither of us spoke. The clinking of cutlery and low chatter of other diners filled the silence between us. Finally she whispered, "Who showed you that?" That was all she said. Not "it's not what you think," not "let me explain." Just "who showed you that?" And that was enough. "I was going to tell you," she said after a moment, her voice shaking. "It just happened. We got close working together and Don't," I said sharply. "Don't make excuses." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I still love you, James. I got lost." I needed something I thought I'd lost at home. I stared at her, trying to find the woman I'd married in the stranger across from me. But she wasn't there. You needed something, I asked bitterly. You had someone who would have given you everything. And you chose this. Her lip trembled. Please, let's talk about this. We can fix it. But I'd already made my decision. I signaled the waiter. Can I get the check, please? Emma's eyes widened. Wait, what are you doing? Leaving, I said. Before I say something I can't take back. James, please, she pleaded, grabbing my hand. It was a mistake. I swear it didn't mean anything. I looked at her hand, the same hand I used to hold every night, the same fingers that now carried another man's touch, and I gently pulled away. You don't accidentally betray someone, Emma, I said quietly. You make a choice. The waiter returned. I paid, left the tip and stood. She looked up at me with tear-streaked cheeks. Where are you going? I forced a bitter smile. Somewhere I don't have to wonder who you're texting. And then I walked out. Outside, the night air hit me like a slap. Cold, dark, real. I stood there for a long time, staring at the busy street, my chest heavy with something between heartbreak and relief. 8 years. Gone in a single dinner. When I finally got home, I packed a bag. I didn't take much. A few clothes, my laptop, the watch my father gave me. I left my wedding ring on the dresser. At midnight, I sent her a message. I hope you find what you're looking for. But it won't be me. The next few weeks were hell. Everywhere I turned, there were ghosts of her. The smell of her shampoo on my pillow, her laughter echoing in my head, the empty space on the other side of the bed. She texted me every day at first. Apologies, long paragraphs about how she regretted everything. How Ethan meant nothing. I never replied. I'd already learned the hard way. Once trust is broken, love alone can't fix it. Months later, I ran into her by chance at the grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, tired, pale, lost. James, she said softly, almost afraid to speak. You look good. Thanks, I replied, though my voice was cold. We stood there awkwardly between aisles of cereal and detergent. For a second, I saw the woman I once loved. And the memory of us before lies, before distance, before the breaking. I think about that night, she said finally. At dinner. What you said. You were right. I met her eyes. About what? That trust isn't something you can just ask for, she whispered. You have to deserve it. He nodded. Yeah, you do. And with that I walked away again. Not out of anger this time, but peace. People say betrayal teaches you who someone really is. But I think it teaches you who you really are. What you'll tolerate, what you'll walk away from, what your heart can survive. When Emma asked, "Do you still trust me?" That night, I didn't realize she was giving me the answer to a question I hadn't dared to ask myself. Do I still trust myself enough to let go? Now I do. Because sometimes love isn't holding on. It's knowing when to walk out, ask for the check, and never look back.